Hi folks. Today I'm going to discuss about how we as humans share the genetics closely with reptiles to animals to vegetable plants and every living organism on planet Earth. It's going to be fascinating, this video. Therefore, stay until the end and let's get into it with a brief intro to DNA. What is a DNA? It's an abbreviation of a long medical term. Let me read it for you. It is called deoxyribonucleic acid. It's a mouthful and a tongue twister, obviously. Each molecule inside our cell contains genetic information responsible for the development and function of an organism. DNA molecules allow this information to be passed from one generation to another. The genetic information that forms the blueprint for any organism is coded into its DNA, extremely long molecules found in the cells. Now, each component of the DNA is called a chromosome and is made up of sections called genes. The entire set of genes that makes up the recipe for an organism is called genome. I know I'm using a lot of these medical terms, but it's essential. You will know why at the end. The genome comprises complete set of instruction to build and operate an organism. These instructions are copied into virtually every cell of the body and tells each cell what to do and what to be. Remember, it will tell each cell what to do and what to be. For example, be a bone cell, you want to it hardens with minerals. Or be a nerve, it carry nerve impulses and so on. Each gene instructs the body to make a particular protein, and these proteins are responsible for all the activities that takes place within our body, like the process of digestion or growing and even to fight diseases. We must remember that each cell only follows the instructions to make the proteins it requires. In other words, it only reads the appropriate bits of the DNA, while the rest of the bits of DNA are twisted away and cannot be reached, like switched off from activities. Now, a fun fact. To explain the process in a layman term, we look at genochromes as a train station on a map. We normally look only at the station, but never even think about the essential tracks in between each station. Genes whose function we recognize only make up of 2% of the total length of the chromosome. Scientists are yet exploring the remaining 98%. It is likely that one function performed by the train track is to tell each cell which of the protein it must make. Every cell has the full instruction set. This is important information. You would not want cells in your eyes producing digestive enzymes, don't you?
Now back to our question. Do we share genetic materials similar to a vegetable salad? Brief history of lettuce. Iceberg lettuce, oak leaf lettuce, romaine, and many other lettuces that we consume today descended from wild plants that were modified 6,000 years ago in the mountainous region, southeastern Europe, and southwestern Asia so that plant oil could be harvested from the seeds. Ancient Greeks and Romans bred the plants to use them as leafy vegetables. Lettuce also ended up on our plates over time. The special history of lettuce has been described in detail thanks to the DNA analysis of 445 types of lettuce conducted by Wageningen University and Research and the Chinese BGI. Many cells in different organisms must carry out identical functions. Although we may not look like a lettuce, our cells carry out many processes which are the same as those vegetable plant needs to do. For example, certain cell processes are the same in all or most organisms, including the way cells divide and the way they take energy from glucose in the process of cell respiration. Our body is nothing like a lettuce, but it does have similar functions and processes to other plants and animals, especially mammals. This explains the larger portion of our genome that we share with other animals. Briefly on genetic codes. The structure of DNA is a double helix with links between the two strands, rather like the rungs of a ladder. Each rung consists of a pair of nitrogenous bases. These are called base pairs, and they act like rungs in a ladder and help hold the two strands of DNA together. There are four nucleotides or bases in DNA: adenine, A, cytosine, C, guanine, G, and thymine, T. These bases form specific pairs, A with T and G with C. Now let's cut all the medical terms and talk about something very, very interesting: how much we share among animals. The genetic similarity between a human and a chimpanzee is 96%. Between a human and a cat, it is 90%. Between a human and a mouse is 85%, a human and a cow is 80%, a human and a fruit fly is 61%, and the bananas we eat and us is 60%. We share so much genetic material with other organisms due to common evolutionary ancestors. In general, we share more genes with organisms from which we evolved. Humans and chimpanzees had a common ancestor as recently as around 6 million years ago. Therefore, the genetic differences that has emerged since 6 million years ago separates us from chimps. The genetic differences between humans and chimps are a mere 1%. If we go further back in time to find the common ancestors with other mammals, fish, birds, insects, and plants, consequently, more genetic changes have accumulated. For example, our last common ancestor with sharks might have lived 290 million years ago. There has been a lot of time for humans and sharks to grow differently by losing and gaining different genes along the way. There is no direct link between evolutionary distance and genetic difference. However, the differences come about as both lines of development go through genetic changes through mutation. Therefore, the differences between humans and a mouse are the sum of the differences between humans and a common ancestor, and the differences between a mouse and a common ancestor. If one line is developing more slowly, there might be fewer accumulated genetic differences than we would expect. Further, some genes might change in the same way if the organisms are subject to the same kind of environmental pressures. Either way, in some regards, you are and will remain like a lettuce, a mouse, a shark, and everything else that has evolved.
Now, final thoughts. Our genetics are 99% closer to a chip. With 1% difference, we have advanced in civilization, science, belief system, and you name it. Now just imagine, what if we find another life form that is advanced by 1% from humans, like us from chimps? We might look primitive to them, don't we? Our universe is expanding with over trillion of galaxies. Each galaxy may contain over 100 billion of stars. In our own galaxy, which is called Milky Way, where the astronomers have estimated over 400 billion stars. One of the stars is our sun with 8 discovered planets. We are not special. However, we have evolved to discover and be special. I hope you like this video. Please share my video and subscribe if you haven't. Cheers. Have a great day.